Hello guys, today we're gonna talk about skills on Striker. I'm gonna go through all the skills that I have, tell you my opinions about them, and let's say I'm gonna separate the skills into, let's say, three categories. One will be must-have skills, one will be do not take skills, and let's say ones are optional. So we're gonna start with main hand. Martial Spirit, you should always take it. It's really good skill in PvP and PvE as long as you manage to keep up with your mana regeneration, VP regeneration. It eats up your VP. So if you have enough carry weight, it's nice if you have some potions with you. Otherwise, you can rotate your skills to recover some VP while you run around. If you're just gonna leave this running without you actually doing anything, you'll eventually run out of your VP. Then the next skill would be Evasion. I have Evasion locked. It's a good skill in PvE, but kind of useless in PvE because it locks you into animation, which is iframe in player versus environment, so PvE. But in PvP, it's not an iframe, so it's just making yourself vulnerable to opponents' attacks. So I have it locked, so I don't mistakenly use it, or use it by mistake. Then you got Flash Stab and Silent Step. Those are your two main iframes. Basically, these two make you invulnerable, invincible, for an instant as you cast them. They both give you 30% movement speed for 10 seconds. These are both useful in both PvE and PvP. I would say they're must-have skills. You got Howling Wolf, which is passive. I think this one is by default. You have it by default, you cannot unlearn it. No, yeah, like I said, you cannot unlearn it. And it's basically just passive evasion. Then you got Fist of True Strength. I wouldn't recommend taking this skill. The level 1 is taken by default, but I wouldn't upgrade it and I would lock it. The problem with this skill is that when you use it, you are vulnerable to enemy control. You're locked in its animation. It's a good skill if you manage to use it correctly, but it would happen too often that you use it by mistake. Because you want to attack, let's say you want to attack after dash, and you will automatically use Fist of True Strength without you wanting to use it, and you'll end up CC'd and die. Tire bar kick, it's kind of useless, I wouldn't take it. Basically it just, it's about same as Fist of True Strength. It doesn't have much damage. I mean, it decreases enemy movement speed, but that's the only thing that it really does. It's pointless to have it, in my opinion. The next one is Crouching Wolf. Definitely a must-have skill. Take both of them, so level it up. It's a buff for you, which gives you attack speed. And when you use it with 3 martial spirit points, those are the points that you gather up as you fight, you'll get a stronger buff for attack speed, and you get I think better regeneration, your mana, something like that. Okay, next one would be Triple Flying Kick. This skill is kind of useless in PvE, but it's really good in PvP, but mostly in endgame PvP. For this skill, I would recommend you leave it at level 1 until you have more than enough skill points to have it. It's not mandatory to level it up to rank 5. Rank 4 is more than enough. You just want it for 9% evasion rate buff. Yeah, so basically, while you level, you will not use it. Once you get to Awakening, you still wanna take Awakening skills before you take this Triple Flying Kick. So once you get enough points, you may take it, and it will be a nice addition to your defense with its buff. Next up we got Adamantine. Adamantine is a really good skill, especially with its flow mass destruction, which is one of the most commonly used skills from non-awakening, at least for me. It's a super armored dodge. It has no collision. That means that you can travel through objects with it, through your enemies. It's really good if you want to get behind someone. Adamantine is really good as well. Basically, it's similar to a tag that is a block from Musa when he walks backwards. If you hit him, he will block and stun his enemy. This is basically the same stuff, but it regenerates shit tons of mana, 30 VP. It has forward guard, like I said, it has a stun, so it's really good. I also have add-ons on it for PvP attack, which is, I didn't have anything else to take, but the one that I really want is bleeding damage. You can also use it from your dash. If you dash and do right click, so you start in non-awakening, dash and right click, you'll do it backwards. It has quite a big range, as I can show you here. You see, this is the range. It's really good. It will stun your enemy and you maintain your frontal block with it, so it's really good. When it comes to massive suppression, I stay at level 1. This is the grab from non-awakening. Level 1 basically grabs your enemy and punches him once. Level 2 punches him twice, and level 3 punches him 3 times. So I stay at level 1 because it's fast. The problem I find with level 2 and level 3 is that the people actually heal up while I do the animation. If you take them level 2, they can pop one more potion, so it's basically granting them HP. If you have enough damage, you don't want that, because you can kill them regardless if you hold them a bit longer or not. So it's possible though to cancel those two by holding right click, and then you just do one hit or 2 hits depending on when you click. So yeah, I decided I'm staying with massive suppression on level 1 because it's a super fast cast. Then next up we got Ankle Hook. This is basically 2 flows from Adamantine, Ankle Hook and Deva King. I basically didn't use those skills. They don't have, even when leveling up, they don't have that much damage. So I found them quite useless, because you can use another skill that has a better combo with bigger damage and faster skill rotation. So these ones are optional, I would say. I mean, you can use them if you feel good with them. So yeah. Next up we got Hidden Claw. I would say for PvP in Awakening as well, when you get Awakening, so endgame PvP, I would definitely take Hidden Claw and Savage Fang. These two are really good. You can combo them really nicely with Knee Hammer, and with Adamantine. Savage Fang can be channeled through Adamantine, so you do Adamantine first, then shift and left click, and you get Savage Fang, as you see. So it's really easy to use. It has down smash, so it's great CC. It has air smash. If you manage to land Hidden Claw before it, you float your enemy and then air smash it with Savage Fang. They have really nice damage, all DP minus 15, which is a really nice debuff even for Awakening fights. So I would highly recommend you take those. Next up we've got Crimson Fang. Crimson Fang, I would say, is a must-have skill for leveling up your striker. So up to level 56 you will mostly use Crimson Fang combos. So basically this entire tree, Crimson Fang, Bloody Fang, you got combo Hurricane. You might use it, like not many people use it, but I found a really nice usage of it. Then all the flows except Bombardment. I don't use Bombardment because it's kind of a waste of time and it kind of breaks your combo. So basically Crimson Fang, same as Adamantine, gives you forward guard and it applies stiffness instead of stun, so you can kind of rotate Crimson Fang and Adamantine, for example. You go stiffness, stun, stiffness, for example. You got flows, Explosive Blow, Death Strike, Venom Fang and Final Blow. Those are all combos that I would take. I would highly recommend you take them while you level up. You can remove them once you get Awakening, but I still use them because they have pretty nice damage for non-awakening skills, and most of all they refill your mana really quick. So once you use Martial Spirit, it's really nice to have some skills that can recover your mana. Death Strike is really good as well for its all DP minus 20. This is really nice debuff that you can use quickly from using Awakening. You can switch to non-Awakening and really quickly use Death Strike, then switch back to Awakening. That means you just debuff your enemy. There is also Venom Fang has attack speed minus 15, but this one is not that important. Next up we got Fist Fury. I'll definitely recommend you don't take this skill. It's kind of useless in both PvE and PvP. It recovers your HP, so you might use it at level 1 while you level up to 56 to regain some HP, but it's not really that useful. You can recover your HP with Roaring Tiger pretty much the same or even better. Next up we got, oops, I scrolled up a bit. Next up we got Wolf's Hunger. This is an optional skill. Some people really like it, I don't. The problem with this skill is that it randomly teleports you around. You cannot decide what target you end up at, except if you're fighting 1 versus 1. Though when you're fighting 1 versus 1, you have only invincibility, so iframe while you are moving, so not while you're hitting enemy. So if enemy times your teleports right, he will stun you while you're attacking, not teleporting. That means you basically die. So I do not take this skill because it's too high risk for not so big reward. Next up we got Knee Hammer, which is a really nice skill. I would highly recommend, I would even say it's a must-have skill on maximum when you got Awakening and everything. It's a skill that you can use from Awakening by pressing Shift and C. So Shift and switch, you'll go into Knee Hammer. It's a really good skill for chaining combos. It has a forward block and stiffness, which is really good. You got its flow called Stalking Wolf. It's an optional skill. I personally really like it. It's a skill that teleports you quite a distance. Let me show you. As long as you have a target, you teleport to your target, and it has really nice add-ons for PvE, so critical rate plus 20 and attack against monsters 25 for 8 seconds. So I use it quite a lot, almost all the time in when I do PvE. In PvP it's kind of a tricky, because it doesn't have any defensive abilities on it, so you don't have lock or super armor. It's really easy to knock you down or CC you while you use it, but if you use it correctly, it's a really useful skill for surprising enemies. Let's say Mage is on low HP, he will teleport away and start healing. You can teleport behind him with Stalking Wolf while he heals. It's the fastest way to get to that Mage and chase him down. But if someone expects you to teleport, he will basically stun you and you will die. Okay, next up we got two flows, Rock Smash and Tornado Kick. Both of these skills are really good while you level up to 56. I would say they're great skills. This small AoE is really good damage. You can use it almost all the time. It has critical rate plus 50%, so it's really good, and also down attack. It's really good for clearing smaller packs of mobs for leveling up, and same is with Tornado Kick. Keep in mind that air attack scales with critical damage really good. So air attack is 3 times the damage and critical is 2 times the damage. If you land critical air attack, you'll get 6 times the damage. So this skill, Tornado Kick, is one of the most powerful skills that you have on Striker, because it has air attack and you can crit with it. So for clearing mobs, this is one of the best skills you'll ever have in non-awakening. So I would highly recommend you take both of them while you level up till 56, and once you are level 56, I would recommend you reset your skill build and lock both of them on level 1, so you will not use them anymore. They're not as good in PvP. Tornado Kick also is usable from Awakening as a flow after Infernal Destruction or Skull Hammer, or Skull Crusher, I don't remember, I think it's after both actually. Basically by just holding F you do a small roundhouse kick. That's Tornado Kick. if you don't lock it, you will always use it, and it doesn't have any defensive capabilities, so it kind of messes up your combos. You can get either locked in a stun combo or whatever, CC, or you basically lose a second of your combo. Next up we got Storm Salt and its Flow Rising Blast combo. These two are not that important in PvE, but at high-end PvP I would say they are great skills, especially Rising Blast combo, because it has this awesome debuff. All evasion rate minus 12% for 10 seconds. Basically, if you're fighting someone who builds evasion, this is one of the best skills that you can use. You will basically start hitting him way more, and because it's not a buff on you, but debuff on your enemy, everyone who's attacking that target will have bigger damage. So that's the point of this debuff. It's way better than just buffing yourself for accuracy. So I would highly recommend, if you have skill points for it, at the high-end PvP, take it. Next up we got Twisted Collision and its combos and flows. When it comes to Twisted Collision, my mind is kind of split. It's useful if you use it correctly, but it can be a giant trap for yourself if you miss an attack. Basically the problem is it has forward guard on when it's not on cooldown, and I mean when it's not on cooldown, but when you get on cooldown, you'll not have any block, so you'll get CC. The problem with this is you will use it more than you want and you'll end up getting CC'd. It's about the same with its flows. The first flow, Nimbus Strike, is quite useful. It's really good for chasing your enemies or catching them by surprise. You can channel your grab right after Nimbus Strike. That means that you can approach your enemy in super armor and grab them right away. It's really good for PvP. When it comes to Fatal Smash and Landslide, I don't like them that much. I mean, they have nice debuffs, but you can apply those debuffs faster with Death Strike or Hidden Claw. That's for DP. So Hidden Claw has 15 and Death Strike has 20 DP debuff. So they are both better than Fatal Smash, which has a longer cast time as well. Then you got Landslide. This one has -9 all evasion rate. Like I said, this is a really good debuff, but the problem is Landslide takes really long to cast, so I recommend using Rising Blast instead of Landslide. It also has bigger damage. I mean, Rising Blast combo has bigger damage than Landslide. Strike Through, this is basically extension of Fatal Smash. I don't like it that much because it makes you vulnerable at the end of animation. It goes super armor into iframe into normal. So when you land, you're vulnerable, and if enemy times his attack properly, he will CC you. Then we got Sweeping Kick. Useless, totally useless in my opinion. No words needed for it. It has low damage, no defense capabilities. It's kind of slow. It looks awesome on the other hand, but it's kind of useless. Roaring Tiger, I would say definitely a must-have skill. It recovers your HP, it has insane damage, it has down smash, air smash and down attack. So if you crit with it, you'll do insane damage even when you got Awakening as well. It's really good for chaining combos, and best of all, it has 300 HP recovery upon using the skill when it's maxed out. You don't need a target for this. You can just use it whenever and you'll regain your HP. Wolf's Fang. Definitely don't take this skill unless you have more than enough points and you want it for second Awakening. Until then, just leave it alone. It has super long cast time, and it takes shit tons of points to max it out, so it has actually viable damage. The damage is better if you use it with your buff from Crouching Wolf with 3 martial spirit points. Then the damage is really good, comparable to some attacks in Awakening, but the problem is it takes so many points that it's better to take Awakening skills, which will do same damage without taking you so many points and not having a cast time. So this one would be optional. Take it if you have more than enough points, and even at 1300 I don't have enough points, so yeah. Next up we got Rage Hammer. I would say this is really good skill from for PvE, even for PvP, because it has really long super armor. It has quite a big range when on max level, so rank 5, and it pulls your enemies towards you. So it's really good in PvE for gathering up your enemies. I would say it's optional, but I highly recommend you take it. Next up you got Mountain Aura. Take that whenever you can, so when you have enough skill points and you want to start doing PvP, try getting it. It's really good. Its defense, it's noticeable. It's basically same as having one bonus try to tat upgrade, so one tat instead of try. It's I think like 8 DP in total. Next up you got passive for more HP, Infinite Mastery. Take that, it's really good. Same with Skilled Hunter, if you can, take it. So basically that would be it for main hand. Let's move up to Awakening. In Awakening, you got 4 skills in the first row taken by default. All of them are really good, don't lock anything. Next up you got Auto Attack. Don't level it up, I wouldn't recommend it. It requires way too much skill points and you will end up not using it at all. Next up is Ultimate Crush. I would say this one is optional to level it up to maximum. It's really good if you use it correctly in PvP, but can mess you up a bit. The problem is only the first hit has forward guard, then you're kind of vulnerable. So if you miss the first hit, you need to stop using the skill so you don't get CC'd. It flows really well from Mass Destruction as well. So it's really good when you change from non-awakening to awakening. It has really nice damage. It has float and air smash and air attack, which is really good. And at maximum level it has 50% critical chance. Basically when you land air smash it will deal 6 times the damage. So yeah, if it crits of course. So yeah, it's really good. Next up we got Infernal Destruction. This is one skill that I'm split at again. Basically it's really good, it's good in PvE, but in PvP it kind of messes up your combos. If you hold F too long after certain attacks like Skull Crusher and Skull Hammer, if you hold F too long you'll start casting Infernal Destruction, and even if you cast Infernal Destruction and hold it a bit too long, you'll cast it 2 times, so I don't use it because of that mistake. Otherwise it has a nice flow, Landbuster. On max level, let's say on Infernal Destruction 3, so at level 60, it should deal really nice damage, but it's still not as good damage as you could get from other skills for same points. It's useful for its super armor though, because it has really long cast time. So if you lock it and use it from your skill bar only to like defend yourself with super armor, it's useful. Otherwise I wouldn't recommend using it too much in PvP. Next up we got Skull Crusher. Definitely take this skill, must have skill. It's the best skill when it comes to damage dealing in Awakening. It has insane debuff, movement speed 15% and attack speed 10%. It also can have a really good add-ons, all evasion for me and critical rate plus 20%. So you will crit with it most of the time. Just if I use this skill, it has 70% crit chance, and when you get 5 points in critical rate, that means you got 95% to crit, and this is insane, really good damage, and it has insane flow called Skull Hammer. Basically it can have add-ons as well. It deals 4 times the damage from the last hit, from the hit from Skull Crusher. So Skull Crusher has 700 times 7 and this one has 700 times 4, so it deals additional damage. It also has insane range, so it's really good. Next up we got Spiral Cannon. Definitely max that out for lower cooldown. No, it's not lower cooldown, sorry. For more HP regeneration, and I think it has, what does it have? It's more damage. Oh yeah, VP recovery, right. It has double the VP recovery, HP recovery. So it's really good. You can use endless flight after it. So it's really good. It has a down smash, and basically it extends your combos. It's really good. Just be careful when you use this skill not to use it on cooldown, because you lose forward guard with it and you lose down smash with it. Otherwise it's one of the best skills to use. You can use it with Shift C from non-awakening, and you'll transfer into Spiral Cannon and end up in awakening. Next up we got Endless Explosion, must-have skill, one of the best skills for PvE and PvP. It has insane damage and it recovers shitloads of HP. It has down smash, but sadly no critical. But if you, example, use Skull Crusher beforehand, you get 20% critical. And if you have 5 points, that's 45% critical for Endless Explosion, which is really good. Next up we got Rampaging Predator. It's again must-have skill. Insane damage if you do it from the back. It teleports you towards your enemy, it keeps your forward guard, it stuns, and it inflicts a shit long bleed for 27 seconds. And basically this is again one of the best skills you can have. I mean, all of the skills are great, so yeah. Then we got Fallout. I mostly don't use this skill. It's really situational. So yeah, it can save you sometimes for additional block, but otherwise it's meh damage and meh skill. Double dash, definitely take this one. You need flash snap maxed out to take this one, and basically you do 3 dashes with it. So yeah, take this. Next up we got Ferocious Assault. It's a jump, really good one, heals you for 300 HP, which is great. And it gives you super armor, basically super armor close gapper. Next up we got Crosswind, one of the best attacks again. If you land air attack with this one, you'll do insane damage. It's a flow from Spiral Cannon, so you do Spiral Cannon and then press space, and you'll end up jumping backwards. You can use it a bit differently if you turn your camera 180 degrees as you use it. So you jump forward. If you use it midair, turn camera midair, you will end up on the same spot where you jumped. That means that you can continue your combo on the spot, you don't have to dash to your enemy. Next up we got Echo Spirit, really great skill. It teleports you behind, summons 2 clones. It has 100% accuracy on the clone damage, so if you go pure AP, this is the best skill you'll have. It will deal shitloads of damage. It has super armor and invincible while teleporting. So super armor while you're using it, and then you got invincibility, so iframe while you teleport behind your enemy. The problem with this skill is that super armor doesn't always work, and you'll end up CC'd when you use it. Another problem is it's 100% skill, so if you use it while 100% rage, you will do it, and you kind of mess up your combos with it. We already talked about Skull Hammer, and the last skill is Bite Off. It's a great skill if you use it correctly. Mostly I use it if I do Rampaging Predator from the front. So this clone will spawn behind your enemy, and you will do back attack with it. So this is one of the great skills as well. It deals shitloads of damage, and it heals you for 300 HP. So basically this is my build, this is the skills that I use, and that would be it. If you guys have any more questions, you can ask me on Discord, or you can join me on Twitch where I stream. So yeah, have fun guys. I hope this tutorial will help you with your strikers, and see you again.